The next person I'm gonna bring up is, again, just one of the most provocative adventurers in the planet. And you know what? I just call her Blanca, because there's Cher, there's Madonna, right? There's Ella, and there's Blanca. And she doesn't need anything else, because when Sunny told me, she said, "You just have to meet Blanca." I never asked anything else. Blanca, yes, there's a resonance about her name. And here she is now at the Global Vision Conference. Welcome, Blanca.
Hello. What an amazing introduction. I'm so honored. How are you?
I am fantastic. I want to tell the story of being a vision, and how showing up as one's vision manifests into the greatest interview about the movies and popcorn movement, about my vision ever, was with you at the opening of the Global Vision Conference. How did that happen, that you saw the vision? Johnny, we have to start this conference off with people hearing what it's about.
I remember that day that Sunny said she was meeting you, and that you were, I remember when I asked you, how do you spend your days? And you said, I'm the founder of the Global Vision Conference. And it was sort of magical and mysterious. I didn't know exactly what it meant, but what I knew is that you had magic in you, and that anyone that Sunny thought was magical is magical. And I think that's, bringing people into the community. And so what happened that day is you were on the Laws of Life Talk webcast. And then, as I had the honor of asking more questions about your event, and I learned actually a lot about the definition of vision, and what you're really doing for people with visions is to infuse hope into the reality of a vision being achieved by allowing people to showcase their gifts and their talents. And I have to say, since that moment, that day that we met, I'm so grateful to call you my friend. It's been wonderful knowing you.
And so where did your vision for Laws of Life come from? This extraordinary networking organization. I used to be known as the world's greatest networker, and now you are. Where did your vision come from?
Well, my father, Dr. Perper, is a doctor and a lawyer, and he was
him. I love him. I love him. I got to meet him. I got to sit next to him. Oh,
That's right. And he loved you. And, he's always been a very avid book reader. And he would read the Koran, and he would read philosophers and poets. And he always had a philosophy for me growing up. And I guess I put my legal background in combination with those life philosophies. And I thought, what should I call my company? And I just came up with the Laws of Life one day.
Oh, wow. And where did you develop the skills for an interview? Last night, your interview with Wally, Victor's bringing him in from the green room now. This interview spontaneously came about last night. And you two, I just watched one of the greatest interviews I've ever seen of Wally. And you, how does this, is it a gift? Is it something you've developed?
That's a great question. Ever since I was a little kid, I always loved doing the morning announcements. I've always loved watching Barbara Walters. I've always loved talk shows and watching news anchors. And then in law school, I argued in the Supreme Court of Ohio. And I always loved the art of public speaking. In high school, I was on the debate team, the forensics team. So I've always loved people. So I realized that interviewing is really my passion and one of the things. And so I've had my webcast, The Laws of Life, for almost 5 years now. And I've interviewed hundreds of people. And I just love shining a light on people and learning their laws of life.
So that's interesting for our audience at home. Childhood. Many visions start in your childhood. Mine started in my childhood. On Sanibel Island, I would rally the kids from the hotels, and I would get a room at one of the hotels, and I would have a movies and popcorn night. And we would pack it out because there wasn't a movie theater at that time on Sanibel. And I was doing what I love doing. And so many, many visions come from our childhood. And now you have expanded on it. And you have this cast of characters that you have introduced me to. How do you organize? How do you get everyone following your vision of where you're going? Because the photo of all of us, including me meeting G Money, all came from your organization and the ripple effect of it.
Well, basically, I went through a very difficult chapter. I basically had to reinvent my career, and I had to decide, what do I want to do? And I had to decide, what is my greatest gift? So I decided I definitely feel my greatest gift is the art of the interview. Well, guess what? You need community to have wonderful people to interview. And I wanted to find other people that loved this art too. So I started a webcast coaching club, and it started off with Coach Rochelle and her webcast, The Laws of Love. She's a relationship coach of many, many, many years, and she's very inspiring. And then it led to Andrea Summerfield, The Laws of Fashion, and developing Andrea's stylist skills and showcasing her fashion to the world. We've got The Laws of Health with Beth Marav, the Satkin Complex, that also helped me lose over 30 pounds. We've got Gina St. George, The Laws of Marketing, The Laws of Sex with Dr. Friedman. So basically, the key is, I thought, having each webcaster have their own niche. And together, every week, we talk about, what does our show look like? What do we want to do better? How do we want to improve? And this club has been one of my greatest sources of joy, which is to engage in my art and share it with other people that love it just as much as me. And so that's a big part of it too.
Okay. So, and you are a natural promoter. You are a natural promoter. You just recognize all of your people. And you know what? I have to say, I got to meet one of America's, one of the world's greatest visionaries, Mary Kay. And I had a moment with her on her birthday. And what I saw in her was how focused she was on me and how she lifted everyone up around her. And you do that. You really lift people up. And you just naturally promoted all of these people so you answered the question by doing it. I asked you, how do you get all the, and you just, because you acknowledge people, you lift them up. Carol Wilkinson, her show Mirror of Magnificence now is one of my favorite shows on the internet, because of what the skills that I see her coming out from all of us. And so before we bring anyone else on, I want to acknowledge that.
Right.
And
thank you. She's an amazing part of the club, and I love Carol. Carol is an extraordinary host, and I saw her interview with you. I think it was over 8 years ago, in preparation of my interview of you.
Right.